Friends, today I want to remind you of a simple yet powerful truth. If someone truly wants you in their life, they will make room for you. You don't have to beg, plead, or chase after anyone. God has a plan, and He will place the right people in your life at the right time. There are moments when we struggle with relationships, whether friendships, family, or even romantic connections. We pour our hearts out, but sometimes it feels like we are not wanted. But let me tell you this, you are not a mistake. You are not an afterthought. You were created by God with a divine purpose. The Bible says in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That includes the relationships in your life. God will never force someone to love you, but He will bring the right people who truly care. Stop chasing people who do not value you. Stop crying over those who walked away. When someone truly loves you, respects you, and values you, they will not make excuses. They will not be too busy. They will not ignore you. Instead, they will cherish your presence and they will make an effort. Jesus Himself never begged anyone to follow Him. He simply said, "Come, follow me." And those who belonged with Him, those whose hearts were touched by the Father, they followed. Let that be a lesson to us. If people do not choose to walk with you, it is not your job to drag them. My friends, trust in God's plan. The right people will come and the wrong ones will go. But in every season, God remains faithful. So instead of worrying about who stays and who leaves, focus on the one who has never left you, our Lord and Savior. Because when you put your trust in Him, He will surround you with the right people at the right time in the right way. If someone truly wants you in their life, they will make room for you, no begging required. This is a truth that too many of us learn the hard way. We hold on to relationships that drain us, friendships that no longer serve us, and people who make us feel like an afterthought. We invest time, energy, and love into individuals who do not reciprocate, hoping that if we try hard enough, they will finally see our worth. But the reality is simple. When someone truly values you, there is no need for constant pursuit or repeated justification of your place in their life. Think about the relationships that make you feel at peace, the ones where you do not have to question where you stand, the ones where you are not left wondering whether you are wanted or merely tolerated. Those relationships are effortless because they are built on mutual respect, love, and appreciation. When someone genuinely cares about you, they will show it, not just in words, but in their actions. They will make time for you, check in on you, and make you feel seen, heard, and valued. They will not offer excuses about being too busy or too overwhelmed to respond. They will not keep you guessing about their feelings or intentions. God never intended for us to beg for love, attention, or affection. The people meant to be in your life will stay, and the ones who are not meant for you will leave, and when they do, let them go. Do not cling to what God is trying to remove. Do not chase after someone who is showing you that they do not value you. Because when you run after people, you are telling yourself that your worth is dependent on their validation. But your worth is not in the hands of any human being. It is in the hands of God. Too often, we settle for less than we deserve because we are afraid of being alone. We convince ourselves that a one-sided relationship is better than no relationship at all. But in doing so, we allow ourselves to be disrespected, undervalued, and neglected. God did not create you to be ignored. He did not design you to be someone's last priority. He created you in His image with a purpose and with a love so great that no human rejection can diminish it. If someone cannot see your worth, it is not your job to prove it to them. It is your job to walk away and trust that God has better for you. Jesus never begged anyone to follow Him. He extended an invitation, but He never chased after those who turned away. He knew that those who truly wanted to be with Him would come, and those who did not were never meant to stay. That is the same perspective we must have in our relationships. Love should not be forced. Friendship should not be one-sided. A healthy relationship, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, should be built on mutual desire, not obligation. It is painful to let go of people we care about. It hurts when someone we love does not love us back in the way we hope. But remember this, rejection is often God's protection. What you think is a loss may actually be a blessing in disguise. God is not trying to hurt you. He is trying to lead you to something greater. Sometimes He allows people to walk away because they were never meant to walk with you into the next season of your life. And if you continue to hold on to the wrong people, you may miss the ones God is trying to bring into your life. You do not have to fight for a place in someone's heart. You do not have to beg for someone's time, attention, or love. What is meant for you will come with ease, and what is not meant for you will slip away, no matter how tightly you try to hold on. Instead of worrying about who stays and who leaves, trust in God's plan. The right people will make an effort, and when they do, you will not have to question their intentions. Let today be the day you stop begging for love. Let today be the day you stop chasing people who are not chasing you. Let today be the day you surrender your relationships to God and trust that He knows what is best for you. The people who belong in your life will stay, not because you forced them to, but because they truly want to be there. And that is the kind of love, friendship, and connection that God desires for you. You are created with a purpose, and God has already planned the right relationships for you. From the moment you were formed, He had a divine plan for your life, one that includes the right people at the right time for the right reasons. Too often, we try to force relationships, whether friendships, family connections, or romantic partnerships, believing that we must hold on to people, even when they no longer serve our growth. But God, in His infinite wisdom, has already aligned the relationships that are meant to shape you, strengthen you, and walk with you through your journey. When we try to control our relationships, we often experience frustration and disappointment. We chase after people who do not value us. We hold on to toxic friendships, and we fight for attention from those who are not meant to be in our lives. But God does not require you to beg for love or force connections. He has already placed the right people along your path, people who will uplift you, encourage you, and bring you closer to Him. The challenge is not in finding them, but in trusting His timing. Many times we mistake temporary people for permanent ones. We hold on to those who were only meant to be in our lives for a season, believing that they are part of our destiny. But just as the seasons change, so do the people in our lives. Some are meant to teach us lessons, others to help us grow, and some to walk with us for a lifetime. It is not our job to decide who stays and who leaves. That is God's role. When He removes someone from your life, it is not a punishment, it is protection. It is a sign that He has something better, something more aligned with His plan for you. Trusting God's plan for your relationships requires faith. It means surrendering your own desires and allowing Him to lead you to the right connections. It means understanding that rejection is often redirection. When someone walks away, when a friendship fades, or when a relationship does not work out, it is not the end. It is simply God closing one door so He can open another. And the doors He opens will always lead to greater blessings, greater peace, and greater purpose. You were never meant to walk through life alone, but you were also never meant to walk with just anyone. The people God places in your life are there for a reason. They will sharpen you, inspire you, and help you become who He created you to be. These relationships will not be forced or one-sided. They will be filled with love, respect, and mutual understanding. The right people will celebrate you, not compete with you. They will pray for you, not gossip about you. They will walk with you in faith, not lead you into confusion. God is intentional about the relationships He brings into your life. He knows exactly what you need and who you need. Sometimes He removes people because He sees what you cannot. He knows their hearts, their intentions, and whether they will be a blessing or a burden in the long run. It is easy to hold on to familiarity, but growth requires letting go. It requires trusting that what is ahead is better than what is behind. There will be moments when you feel alone, when it seems like the people you cared for the most have drifted away. But loneliness is not a punishment. It is a season of preparation. God often removes the wrong people before He introduces the right ones. In those quiet moments, He is working on you, shaping you, and preparing you for the relationships that align with His purpose. Instead of questioning why someone left, ask God what He is making space for. Instead of mourning what was, look forward to what is coming. Every relationship in your life should bring you closer to your purpose, not pull you away from it. The right people will encourage your dreams, not diminish them. They will speak life into you, not drain you. They will challenge you to grow, not keep you stagnant. When God is in control of your relationships, you do not have to fight for a place in someone's life. You do not have to prove your worth or force a connection. What is meant for you will come naturally with peace and certainty. God's plan is greater than anything you could imagine. The relationships He has for you will be fulfilling, meaningful, and aligned with His will. They will be the kind of relationships that bring joy, not confusion, peace, not anxiety, love, not rejection. When you surrender your relationships to Him, you allow Him to lead you to the people who truly belong in your life. The ones who will walk with you in faith, encourage you in your purpose, and remind you that you are never alone. Stop chasing those who don't value you. God will bring the right people at the right time. It is a difficult lesson to learn, but one that brings so much freedom once it is fully understood. Too often, people waste their time and energy trying to gain the approval, attention, or love of those who have already shown that they do not truly care. It is a painful experience to feel unwanted, ignored, or undervalued. But holding on to people who do not appreciate you will only keep you from receiving the blessings God has in store. There is no need to chase anyone who is not willing to meet you halfway. When God is at the center of your life, you do not have to beg for love, friendship, or companionship. The right people will be placed in your path at the right time. You do not have to manipulate circumstances, convince others of your worth, or exhaust yourself trying to maintain relationships that are not meant for you. What God has for you will come in His perfect timing, and it will be effortless. There will be no need for constant proving, persuading, or pleading. Instead, there will be peace, understanding, and mutual respect. Many times, people fear letting go because they are afraid of loneliness. They settle for one-sided relationships because they believe that having someone, anyone, is better than having no one at all. But God has not called His people to settle. He has not called them to chase after those who continuously disregard their value. He has called them to trust in Him, to know that His plans are greater, and to understand that what He removes is always replaced with something better. When a door closes, it is because God is protecting you from something that is not meant to be part of your journey. Relationships that are meant to be will never require constant chasing. The people who are supposed to be in your life will make an effort to be there. They will call, they will check in, they will prioritize your presence. When someone truly values you, they will not make you feel like an option or an afterthought. They will not leave you questioning whether or not you matter to them. Real relationships, whether friendships, romantic connections, or even family bonds, are built on mutual love and respect, not on one person doing all the work while the other remains indifferent. God sees every tear, every moment of heartbreak, and every time you have felt rejected or overlooked. He knows the pain of watching someone you care about walk away, but He also knows what lies ahead. He knows the people He has planned for you, those who will bring joy, encouragement, and faith into your life. When you stop chasing after the wrong people, you make room for the right ones. When you release those who do not value you, you allow God to fill that space with those who do. The Bible reminds us in Ecclesiastes 3:1 that there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. That includes relationships. Some people come into your life for only a short season, while others are meant to stay. But no matter the duration, each relationship serves a purpose. Some teach you lessons, some help you grow, and some are there to walk with you through life's greatest challenges. The key is to know when to hold on and when to let go. Chasing after people who do not value you is exhausting, and it only leads to more disappointment. It creates an unhealthy cycle of seeking validation from those who were never meant to give it to you. But when you trust that God will bring the right people at the right time, you no longer have to live in a state of desperation. You no longer have to beg for love or attention. Instead, you can rest in the assurance that God's timing is perfect, and what is meant for you will always find its way to you. There is great peace in surrendering your relationships to God. There is freedom in understanding that you do not have to fight for a place in anyone's life. The right people will come, not because you chase them, but because they recognize your worth and desire to walk alongside you. And when those people arrive, there will be no confusion, no uncertainty, and no need to question where you stand. Until then, trust in God, wait with patience, and know that the love He has planned for you is far greater than anything you could ever chase on your own. Jesus never begged anyone to follow Him, and you shouldn't beg for love or attention either. He simply extended an invitation, "Come, follow me," and those who were meant to walk with Him did so willingly. He never chased after people, never pleaded for their loyalty, and never tried to force anyone to stay. He understood that love, devotion, and commitment must come from the heart, not from obligation or manipulation. In the same way, you should not have to beg for someone to love you, to care for you, or to acknowledge your worth. True love, whether from a friend, a family member, or a romantic partner, is given freely, not out of pressure or desperation. Many people spend years chasing after those who do not truly see them. They exhaust themselves trying to earn affection, trying to prove their worth, or trying to make someone stay. But love that has to be begged for is not real love. It is one-sided, conditional, and often fleeting. The people who are meant to be in your life will choose to be there without needing to be convinced. They will value you, respect you, and cherish you without hesitation. If you have to constantly remind someone to love you, to make time for you, or to appreciate you, then you are trying to force something that was never meant to be. Jesus knew His worth. He knew His mission. He did not waste time trying to persuade people to accept Him. He spoke the truth, and those who were meant to follow Him did. Those who turned away were free to go, and He did not run after them. He did not change Himself to fit into their expectations or try to earn their approval. Instead, He stayed true to His calling, and those who truly desired to walk with Him made the choice on their own. This is the same mindset you must adopt in your own life. Your value is not determined by how many people choose you. Your worth does not decrease just because someone fails to recognize it. The right people will come, and they will stay not because you beg them to, but because they truly want to be there. When you beg for love or attention, you give away your power. You allow others to dictate your happiness, to determine your self-worth, and to control your emotions. But God did not create you to live in desperation. He did not design you to chase after those who continually reject you. He has already planned the right relationships for your life, relationships built on mutual love, trust, and respect. When you trust in His plan, you no longer have to force connections. You no longer have to lower your standards or compromise your dignity just to keep someone close. What is meant for you will come naturally in God's perfect timing. Rejection can be painful, but it is often God's way of protecting you from something that is not aligned with His will. When someone walks away from your life, it may feel like a loss, but in reality, it is a blessing in disguise. God sees what you cannot. He knows who is meant to walk with you and who is only meant to be part of your journey for a season. If someone does not appreciate your presence, let them go. Do not waste your energy trying to convince them to stay. Instead, focus on the people who do see your worth, who do make time for you, and who do love you without conditions. There is a peace that comes with knowing that you do not have to chase love. When you embrace this truth, you begin to see relationships differently. You stop tolerating half-hearted efforts and one-sided connections. You stop excusing mistreatment and justifying neglect. Instead, you choose to invest in the people who genuinely care about you, the ones who show up, the ones who value your time and presence. You begin to walk with confidence, knowing that the right people will be drawn to you not because you begged for their love, but because they recognize your worth on their own. Jesus set the ultimate example of what it means to stand firm in who you are without chasing after anyone for validation. If the Son of God never begged for love or attention, then neither should you. Walk in faith, trust in God's plan, and know that the right people will be placed in your life at the right time. Those who are meant to be with you will stay, and those who leave were never meant to remain. Let go of the need to beg for love, and instead, trust that the love God has prepared for you is far greater than anything you could ever force on your own. Let go of those who walk away and trust that God's plan is greater than your own. It is never easy to watch someone leave your life, especially when you have given them your time, love, and loyalty. The pain of separation can be overwhelming, making you question what went wrong and why things didn't work out the way you had hoped. But what if letting go is not a loss, but a part of God's greater plan? What if the very people you are trying to hold on to are the ones standing in the way of something better? God is not a God of confusion or chaos. He is a God of order, purpose, and divine alignment. If someone chooses to walk away, you must trust that their departure is not a mistake but a necessary shift in your life. Holding on to what God is trying to remove will only delay the blessings He has prepared for you. Sometimes, in our desire to keep people close, we ignore the signs that they are not meant to stay. We justify their actions, make excuses for their absence, and try to convince ourselves that if we just try harder, things will change. But real love, real friendship, and real connections do not require you to beg. The right people will stay because they want to, not because you pleaded with them to remain. God's plans are always higher than ours. What you see as a painful ending, He sees as a new beginning. What you view as rejection, He sees as redirection. Every door that closes is not a punishment, but a step towards something greater. Sometimes He removes people from your life because He sees what you cannot. He knows the hearts of those around you. He knows who will hinder your growth, who will betray you, and who will not be able to walk with you into your next season. Instead of resisting His plan, surrender to it. Trust that He is working all things for your good, even when it does not make sense in the moment. When Jesus walked the earth, He never begged anyone to follow Him. He extended the invitation, and those who truly wanted to be with Him came willingly. Those who turned away were free to go. He understood that His mission was too great to waste time chasing people who did not value the opportunity to walk with Him. The same is true for you. Your purpose is too important to waste energy on those who do not appreciate your presence. If someone does not recognize your worth, let them go with grace. Do not fight for a place in their life when God has already planned greater relationships for you. Letting go is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of faith. It means believing that God knows what He is doing, even when you do not understand. It means trusting that His plan is unfolding exactly as it should. It is easy to cling to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves you. But true faith requires stepping into the unknown, trusting that what is ahead is better than what is behind. The relationships that are meant to last will stand the test of time, and those that fade were never built to endure. There is peace in surrendering your relationships to God. When you stop chasing, forcing, and holding on to what is not meant for you, you make room for the blessings He has prepared. You allow Him to bring the right people into your life, those who will love you, support you, and walk with you in faith. The right relationships will not bring confusion, heartache, or constant doubt. They will bring joy, clarity, and peace. God's plan is always greater than your own. Even in the pain of letting go, He is leading you to something better. You may not see it now, but in time you will understand why certain people had to leave. You will look back and realize that their absence made space for something far greater than you could have imagined. So let go with faith, walk forward with confidence, and trust that God is writing a story more beautiful than anything you could have planned for yourself. Instead of worrying, put your faith in God, and He will surround you with the right people. Life is full of uncertainty, especially when it comes to relationships. People come and go, friendships change, and sometimes the ones we thought would always be there drift away. It is easy to fall into the trap of worry, wondering if we will ever find the right people, those who will truly understand us, love us, and walk with us through life. But worrying does not change anything. It only robs you of your peace. Instead of living in fear of who will stay and who will leave, trust that God already has a plan. He knows exactly who needs to be in your life and when they need to be there. God is not a God of accidents or coincidences. Every person He places in your life serves a purpose. Some are there to teach you lessons, some to encourage you, and some to walk beside you for a lifetime. But you do not have to control this process. You do not have to chase after people, force relationships, or worry about whether you are worthy of love. When you put your faith in God, He will bring the right people at the right time without you having to strive for it. Worry often comes from the fear of being alone or the fear of being rejected. It makes people settle for relationships that are not meant for them because they are afraid of waiting. But God's timing is perfect. If someone is not in your life right now, it is because they are not meant to be there yet, or perhaps not at all. Forcing relationships outside of God's plan only leads to heartache and disappointment. Trust that He knows what is best for you. Faith is about surrender. It is about letting go of control and believing that God's plan is greater than your own. Instead of spending your energy worrying about who loves you, who stays, or who walks away, focus on deepening your relationship with God. When you seek Him first, everything else will fall into place. He will align your life with the right people, the right friendships, and the right connections, those that will bring peace, not confusion, joy, not heartache. God's plan is always better than anything you could arrange for yourself. Sometimes He removes certain people because He knows they are not meant to go where He is taking you. It may be painful in the moment, but His wisdom far exceeds our understanding. When someone leaves, do not see it as rejection. See it as God making space for something better. Instead of chasing after people who do not value you, wait on the ones God has chosen for you. The right relationships will never require you to beg for love, attention, or respect. Trusting God also means trusting His process. There may be seasons of loneliness, seasons where it feels like no one truly understands you. But even in those moments, God is working behind the scenes. He is preparing you for the right people and preparing the right people for you. Instead of filling the void with unhealthy relationships, use that time to grow in faith, to strengthen your heart, and to become the person God created you to be. When the right people do come, you will be ready, and they will be ready for you. Worry is the opposite of faith. It says, I must figure this out on my own. Faith says, God already has it figured out. When you trust Him, you no longer have to stress over relationships. You no longer have to wonder if you are good enough or if you will ever find the right people. You can rest in the promise that God is working everything out for your good. The people who are meant to be in your life will come naturally. You will not have to force them to stay. You will not have to prove your worth to them. They will see it on their own because God will have placed them there for a reason. Until then, trust the process. Let go of worry. Put your faith in God and know that He is leading you to the relationships that will bring you closer to Him, closer to your purpose, and closer to the abundant life He has promised. So, let go of the worry, the doubt, and the fear of being alone. Trust that God is already working behind the scenes, aligning your path with the right people who will uplift, encourage, and walk with you in faith. You don't have to force what God has already planned. His timing is perfect, and His ways are higher than yours. Surrender your relationships to Him, knowing that what is meant for you will never require you to beg or strive. Walk in faith, knowing that He is leading you toward connections that will bring peace, purpose, and joy. The right people will come, not because you chased them, but because they were always part of God's plan for your life.